Okay, today, the goal of today, before I meet with any of you, is to have you see what you know about evaluating algebraic expressions, simplifying algebraic expressions, and solving linear equations. You've done it all. Who knows? I'm going to look at those little pre-tests to see. I can't do that yet. So once I find that out, it will give me an idea of how well you knew it. So to evaluate, I would say there are three things. Plug in the values for the variables. So you want to remember an expression can be equal to anything depending on what those variables are. I say put it in your calculator. You got to get used to standardized tests where they don't need to see your work, but you have to be careful that you're using the calculator correctly. Make sure the big thing is anytime you plug a number in for a variable, you put it in parentheses. And the exponent goes on the outside of the parentheses. When you are evaluating, your answer is a number. So if you look at like these three examples, I'm just going to get out my calculator, which I'll move over for this first one. So for that first expression, I'm going to put 2 parentheses, -2 in for x, minus parentheses, 6 for y, plus 8 parentheses, w is 1/4, 1 divided by 4, press enter, -8. I don't have to think. I just plug it in. There's my answer. So, second one. We have some parentheses in it, so we need to add extra and still have the ones that are there. So I would put 4 parentheses, -2, minus 3 parentheses, which is for the one that's there, parentheses 6 for my y, not delete that, then plus 2 parentheses, and then square that outside. My answer is -200. So I'm not really doing any work in my head. I'm just going to use the calculator, which a lot of us are not used to because you're used to your teacher always saying show work. So third one, more parentheses and brackets. With a graphing calculator, brackets are just parentheses. Don't try to use the brackets in the calculator. So with this one, if you would see, I put my 3. X is, I forget, -2. So I'm going to put -2 in for x, then plus 4. I'm going to put a parenthesis for that bracket. Then I'm going to put another parenthesis. Y is -6. Close that. The square goes on the outside. Plus 4. Oh, I forgot my parentheses, so I can go back. Parenthesis, 4, parenthesis, x is -2. Close that. Minus 12, parenthesis, w is 1 divided by 4. That parenthesis is the w's parenthesis. So then you have 2 more parentheses after that, and it makes it big in your calculator if you're using a graphing calculator, 94. So, I mean, I know a lot of you will want to show your work. You got to be careful with squaring negatives. If you don't put parentheses in your calculator, it gives you a negative, and the answer is a positive. I don't think I need to do this last one, but the big thing is if something is cubed, like you see there. In your calculator, you want to make sure you use the caret key. So that's that key to make it go up. Okay. Um, so if I want to do 2x cubed, I would do 2. X is -6, I think, or -2, sorry. Um, caret cubed. But I'm not going to finish that one. So that's evaluating. Simplifying. With simplify, 3 things you want to think of. First thing you want to do is get rid of grouping symbols. You get rid of grouping symbols by distributing. Hopefully you know how to distribute. Multiply everything inside by the thing that is outside. Next, collect like terms. Now, when I say do what you see, if you have a 4x and then a -2x, you do 4 minus 2. Like terms we should know, letters raised to the same power. An x is like with an x. It's not like with an x squared. Your answer is an expression like 2x plus 7. You can't solve it. It's just 2x plus 7. So these are a little quicker. You have grouping symbols. So you need to take that and multiply. 4 times x, 4x. 4 times -2 is a -8. Here I'm distributing a 3. So 3 times x, 3x, 3 times 6, 18. So now do what you see. Collect like terms. 4x plus 3x is 7x. I have a -8 plus 18. Don't do 8 plus 18 and then make it a negative. -8 plus 18 is plus 10. That's your answer. You can't go any further. You've simplified. This one, no grouping symbols. So just put together like terms. 2p squared minus 10p squared. 2 minus 10, -8p squared. When you're collecting like terms, they stay what they are. They don't become p4s. P squareds with p squareds are p squareds. A -8p plus 6p. -8 plus 6 is -2p. And then -5 goes with nothing, -5. Nothing there is like. You've combined the like terms. You're done. That is an expression. Can't go any further. So this last one, you have grouping symbols. You have to distribute. 4 times n squared, 4n squared. 4 times 2n, 8n. Now here I'm distributing a -5. So -5 times 2n squared is a -10n squared. A -5 times a -3 is plus 15. So your grouping symbols are gone. Put together like terms. 4 minus 10 is -6n squared. 8n, I have nothing to go with it, so 8n. 15, I have nothing to go with it, so 15. That's my simplified expression. So last thing, which actually people are probably the best at, solving linear equations. So linear equation, now we have an equal sign. So this side equals the other side. You're trying to find what that variable equals. You know you found the right answer if, when you plug it in, it makes the statement true. Okay, so with solving linear equations, I'm going to sort of do one and go through the steps. And there's not one way. Some people like move their numbers before they move their variables. As long as you know what you're doing with solving linear equations, linear means you don't have a square, a cube, you just have your variable to the first power. So first step you always want to do is simplify each side. So the right side and the left side, nothing can be put together. What you would have to be doing is distributing or combining like terms. While you look at this problem, you can't put anything together. So next step, get your variables on the same side. That's what I do. So I always move my letter first. In order to do that, I'm using inverse operations. If I have a minus, I put plus. If I have a plus, I put minus. Most teachers teach move the smaller one. So you look at 7p and 9p. 7 is smaller than 9. So I'm going to move that. That's a positive 7. So I'm going to subtract 7 from both sides. That's gone. So now I have 13. 9p minus 7p is 2p minus 5. Now that you have variables on one side, this is really where most people are like, you know what to do. How do you get p on a side by itself? You always get rid of the constant term first. So the constant term is the one without the variable. So if I see a minus 5, I plus 5. So now I have 18 equals 2p. So I got rid of the constant term. Now I'm going to multiply or divide. That's 18 equals 2p, bring that all the way down. Multiply or divide by the number in front of the variable. Inverse operations. Since it's being multiplied, I'm going to divide. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. I have p equals 9. Now what can I do? I can always check to make sure I did that right. Go back to the original problem. If I plug 9 in there and 9 in there, do I get the same answer? 63 plus 13 is equal to 81 minus 5. So it's correct. Just to see a couple done, if I was given this, I'm going to think of that first step. I have to get rid of grouping symbols first. So I distribute 3x. 3 times a negative 6 is negative 18. Now I can't do anything more on each side. I move the constant term. So I add 18. That's gone. Negative 9 plus 18 is 9. That's being multiplied, so I divide. That's 1. X equals 3. I could go back, plug it in, make sure it works. Next one, I have to distribute first. 3 times y, 3 times negative 3. That other side is done. So now I have variables on both sides. I want to get them on the same side. So I look at this and think negative 2 is smaller than 3. So I'm going to Since it's negative, I'm going to add it because a negative 2 and a positive 2 gives me nothing. Whatever I do to one side, I do to the other side. Now I have 5y minus 9. Be careful here. You're left with a negative 29. Now add 9. 5y equals negative 29 plus 9 is negative 20. Divide by 5. Y equals negative 4. I could go back, check it, make sure it's right. So that is those three concepts. Do the assignment on Delta Math that deals with that, and we will go over that tomorrow.